in Jasper Johnson Epstein and Philip Gunn. And I know some of you out there chiming in on the old Twitter sphere about obs on aggro this and obs on aggro that. Well, here, fine.
So if we want to do a retrospective of Standard over the last 6 months, the same deck won both Pro Tours, and it didn't play any Siege Rhinos, yet we somehow every week seem to forget that it's just really good. So here's another reminder. Mono Red is a great deck.
Swift Spear here from Jasper. To start off round number 9, one of these players is going to be on top of the standings. This is a Wild Slash to take care of the Monastery Swift Spear as round number 9 is underway. Buckle in for probably not too long, as here's an Eidolon in the Great Revel, and that's actually Philip Gunn's draw for the turn. Now, Gunn, a player you're familiar with?
Yeah, Gunn is from the Minneapolis area as well. 8-0 made the travel here, looking for his first big finish. Seen him a lot on the SCGIQ, preliminary PTQ circuits. In my opinion, a pretty impressive player and someone who I would not expect to kind of make that jump into the top, some of the top players in the state over the next couple of years.
Fair enough. Well, he's off to a great start here at the Open Series in Milwaukee. He's got an Eidolon as well, but that one triggered Jasper's. Now we're going to have this kind of Eidolon battle. Well, not that long. There's a Searing Blow to take care of the Eidolon. A lot of damage will be dealt from that, and then Jasper is the one left with a creature.
So Jasper takes 4, Phil takes 5.
Let's not forget those 2 PM, and then he's got Lightning Berserker as well. Now, we saw Jasper a little bit earlier. Not afraid to play spells into his own Eidolon.
No, it's interesting in the Mono Red mirror how that plays out, though.
Yeah.
And Phil, so when he's down on life points, that means he has to get rid of the Eidolons. Eidolon actually tends to be very good in Mono Red mirrors, simply because what frequently happens in burn-style mirrors is that the most important cards are the creatures.
The only unique card that we've seen so far is actually the one that Phil just cast in Goblin Glory Chaser.
Yeah, he has 3 of them in his main deck today. His deck lower to the ground than Jasper's.
Jasper with an Abbot of Carol Keep, revealing an Eidolon that he's already kind of put into the exile pile, knowing that he can't play it. So he's just going to pass the turn back. It appears he does not want the Glory Chaser to hit him, and not willing to attack with the Berserker. So playing a little bit of defense here, surprisingly.
Yeah, he is ahead. To be a little surprised to see that happen. Can Phil risk this if he attacks and Jasper has, say, a Wild Slash? He could slash at Phil's face, eats the Glory Chaser. I don't think he has the kill spell. Will Jasper want to trade the Berserker? This attack, to me, sure looks like Phil has the Berserker covered. He can't afford to let that guy through.
And this was an interesting turn here by Jasper, where he played Abbot and just elected not to attack with Berserker. I mean, that's notable because he's saying, even though I have a life lead here in 14 to 10, I'm slowing way down.
The safe play is to trade it with Berserker, but Jasper's not playing it safe at this point.
There's a Swift Spear after combat. And now an Eidolon, a Mountain, and pass.
All right.
I'm interested to see what's going on here. Stoke the Flames and Abbot in hand here for Jasper.
Another Abbot. Jasper goes to 11. Remember that when that Glory Chaser has a counter on it, it has Menace. And a good draw here for Jasper off the Abbot is going to be Stoke the Flames.
Yeah, it's a really weird draw because like he has the ability to cast it right now, yes.
Yeah.
Like that's a thing that he can do, and he could say, okay, I'm going to go upstairs, put you down to 6, and Jasper actually has another Stoke in hand.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, and I like this a lot because what he gets to do here is he kind of Phil is kind of Eidolon locked now.
Right, and that is why I like the plays, because if Phil plays anything, he's dead to the second Stoke.
And if Phil has Stoke right now, it's not lethal because Jasper's at 11, so he can deal in 4 with Stoke and then 2 with every other creature on the battlefield because of the prowess trigger. So that'll put Jasper down to 1, and then Jasper can kill him on the way back. So now things are actually going to get a little interesting.
The danger would be something like 2 burn spells out of Phil.
Correct.
Then that would win.
So there's definitely a combination of cards that Gunn can have here to win the game. That said, I like Jasper's play a lot last turn of just Stoke you. I have another Stoke in my hand. You have to be worried about that and or Exquisite Firecraft. So that means that if you're Philip Gunn, casting a spell is actually really hard to do right now.
And Phil's hand is nothing close to that. I believe he just had 5th land in Monastery Swift Spear.
So no attack there from Gunn. And the other thing I like that Jasper can do this turn, and he just drew a Mountain, I like the fact that he can just play Mountain, Stoke him now, put him to 2, and lock him under his own Eidolon. I like a lot of the options that Jasper has here. You know, how does he want to trap him under that Eidolon is the question. He's just going to pass the turn back. Because you can definitely sense that Jasper's trying to trap him into casting a spell. Eidolon will trigger, put him down to 4, and then fire off the Stoke the Flames.
But there's not much Phil can do other than draw his own copies of Stoke the Flames.
Correct. He'll pass the turn back as well. So Phil's not willing to cooperate. Jasper says, I'm going to you with the Stoke the Flames. And now he's Eidolon locked outside of Stoke the Flames. And if you're Jasper, you don't have to attack.
You'll draw a burn spell eventually.
Correct.
And Jasper's got him in that spot. Phil drawing lots of uncastables.
Well, I like the...
He just can't do anything.
Yeah, you can't attack either. I love the reach for the Eidolon, but he can't make that attack either. Because then he'll die to the swing back. And Phil is in one of the hardest locks I've ever seen. Even though he still
Searing
has...
blood, Jasper can pick what it goes at.
Yeah, like, he has a weird way out if Jasper draws all lands and Phil draws Stokes, but that's not going to happen. Searing Blood got the job done, so Jasper Johnson Epstein is going to win game number 1 here over Philip Gunn. The mono red Agromir right now goes to the player on the left, who, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, he loves red.
Right, this is going to be his second big finish in 2 weeks with 4X Eidolon of the Great Revel. Did it in Modern last weekend in Oklahoma City. And looking to be our 9-0 player, 1 game away from it here in Milwaukee.
If you would ask Jasper at the beginning of the top 8 in Oklahoma City, I think he may have said he would have won that. He thought he was going to win that tournament.
Well, actually, his winning in for the top 8 the previous round was against Zach Elsick.
Really?
So, yeah, he 2-0'd him to make it into the top 8, and then got to play 1 versus 8. Jasper's the 1 seed, got to play the matchup again.
And that time he lost. And
right.
Elsick, as we know, was playing Lantern Control, such a good matchup for Burns. So Jasper, a little unlucky in that top 8, but he's off to a great start here again at 8-0. Though we're going to turn our attention to Philip Gunn and his sideboard. You've got that in front of you. So what does he have here?
In his sideboard, all right, so we'll go this. Phil has another copy of Lightning Berserker, 2 Magma Sprays. That seems excellent in the matchup. 4 Roasts, a Smash to Smithereens, a Searing Blood, which I imagine he'll use. Exquisite Firecraft, 2 Scab Clan Berserkers, a Chandra Pyromaster, I like that one here. Goblin Heel Cutter, and Outpost Siege. By and large, what I would want to do in this matchup is I want to get advantage on the creature aspect of things. I would like to kill their creatures and have more creatures. The repeatable sources of damage do more work than the burn spells.
So you like a card like Chandra and like Outpost Siege in this matchup?
I don't know if you have time for Outpost Siege. I'm excited about Chandra, though.
Okay. On the other side of things here for Jasper, he's got 2 Goblin Heel Cutters, 2 Thunderbreak Regions, 2 Magma Sprays, a Molten Vortex, 4 copies of Roast, 2 Smash to Smithereens, a Chandra of his own, and an Outpost Siege of his own. Sticking with that plan, so do you like Thunderbreak Region in the matchup, though?
I'm not positive about Thunderbreak Region. He's pretty expensive. He might actually be okay. The card I'm most excited about in Jasper's sideboard, though, is Molten Vortex.
Okay.
That card is excellent. You saw how damaging extra lands can be. Phil got up to 5 lands, had no use for them. You saw just how many creatures die to a 2-damage burn spell. Molten Vortex seems excellent.
Well, those are the options there for both players. Game number 2 will be underway in just a moment. We'll take a look at our players to watch leaderboard right now, since we kind of joined this match in progress. We know that Jasper's on top of the standings. He's 8-0, looking to play for 9-0. We've got Joe Lissette and Tyler Wynn. Both of those players are at 7-1.
Yeah, big weekend. Joe Lissette was 9th on the leaderboard going into this. Remember, it is currently 2nd through 9th who will get the spots, so he's in, but really could use a cushion. 7-1's a great start.
Steven Garcia, Matthew Tickle, both those players are 6-2 here this weekend. We'll take a look at page number 2, where Justin Cohen with his Goblins deck is 6-2. Invitational runner-up during season 1 of last year, Jesse Hefner, 6-2. Ryan Hipp with Just Guy Dragons at 6-2. Stephen Neal and Jim Davis round out our 6-2s. And then our last page here, we'll find some players with 3 losses, and Chris Anderson, Andrew Boswell, and Raymond Perez looking to make day number 2, but all of them are going to need to win to do so. So back to that 8-0 match, where one of these players will be 9-0 afterward and on top of the standings, gets to take the photo and all that jazz, and probably start with them tomorrow as well. But you mentioned right at the top of the round, you know, a lot of people think of this standard format as being dominated by Obzon. And, you know, the world champion, Seth Manfield, got the job done with Obzon. But Red won both Pro Tours.
This is not, so it's not a knock on Obzon. Obzon's a great deck. It's probably still the top deck of the format if you want to, when it comes down to it. But Mono Red is great. And it's just interesting when I talk with a lot of players, you know, they ask, hey, what should I run this weekend? And I always answer, you know, I think Mono Red's a great choice. And you always get that, oh, yeah, but, you know, it's not going to be good this weekend, or people are going to be ready for it. And they treat it like it's this gimmick deck, you know, that'll get people when they're not expecting it. But I'm saying sometimes Mono Red is that way. You know, in Legacy, certainly, there's some of that. There can be some of that in Modern. But in Standard, it's not a gimmick deck. It's just good.
That's why I like it in Standard, because it is just good. And we saw 2 different builds win with it, right? Atarka Red and then the other build.
And then Mono Red,
yeah. Just really Mono Red with Abbott and Searing Bloods. In that second tournament, that second Pro Tour that Yoel Larson won, I think Mono Red was positioned unbelievably well. I think the one that Martin Dang won, I think he just had a great build of the deck.
Yeah, and it's just, right, Mono Red is a deck that you could play every single week, and not have a bad week.
Yeah. Well, that's what Jasper does.
And it does great.
Yeah, he always plays red. There are definitely some people who play red as a metagame choice. There are also your red enthusiasts, and Jasper is the latter for sure. He loves playing red strategies. He's very skilled at it. Not a surprise to see him 8-0 here with mono red aggro this particular weekend. And of the sideboards that we've seen this weekend, I've been looking at these Obzon decks that we've had on camera and some other things that we've had. Not a lot of red hate in the sideboard. Drown in Sorrows and such. There are a couple of copies of Varash and Cleric, sure, but these red decks
There hasn't been much, you're right.
These red decks can power through that card.
I mean, and there's a reason maybe that both our 8-0 players are on mono red.
Yeah. And neither of these players came in with buys here this weekend. They've earned it the hard way. So that's certainly notable as well.
Yeah. It does have bad matchups. Green-white Constellation, we had that on camera last round. That is a horrible matchup for red. But it's a deck you can go a whole tournament without playing that one.
Yeah. A very low representation on that deck.
Yeah, the guy main decking for Knicks Fleece Rams tends to be a tough matchup.
You think so?
Yeah.
Might be a touch difficult. Coursers and Rams and everything else. Herald of the Pantheon. Yeah, might be a little tough. Looks like Gunn's going to keep. He'll start off with a Monastery Swiss Spear. In he comes. Jasper down to 19. A Mountain, a Lightning Berserker, pass that turn back.
And Philip's hand. Okay, he does not have a second land. Double Firecraft. Looks like he has Searing Blood, Roast, a lot of game on 2 mana.
Well, the issue here for Jasper, even though he has lands, he has a lot of lands. Now, he's got a Thunderbreak region, but I think the rest of his hand is lands.
Well, and generally when Land Flood plays against Land Screw, one of them ends up on top. And in a mono red mirror, that's probably only bigger.
Yeah, oftentimes we find Land Screw be able to win that game.
Well, it only takes 1 or 2 lands for the player without lands to salvage his draw.
Yep.
But the person who has too many lands needs 5 running spells to salvage his draw.
Players will trade resources there. Lightning Strike takes care of Monastery Swiss Spear. Berserkers trade. Jasper with land number 3. Now, he did draw Abbott for the turn. Unclear if he wants to play it or not, though. Looks like he will.
I'm a little surprised to want to play it. Great play for him to get Monastery Swiss Spear. Mainly because I didn't want card advantage in the form of a land. And I see, second land for Phil, and he's back on track.
Here comes Zergo. See if Jasper wants to block or not. Looks like he's going to take the 2. The follow-up is a Searing Blood. That'll take care of Abbott. 3 damage headed Jasper's way as well. But Jasper's got one of his sideboard cards that looks to be a trump here in Thunderbreak region, so he's going to deploy that after attacking with the Swift Spear. We'll see if the 4/4 flyer can get the job done.
Yeah, you asked before whether that would be good in this matchup. Certainly, if Jasper can get to it. I mean, it looms large on this board.
I definitely like the card as an option. The big question is, if I draw one of these, does it win me the game? Or do I keep a hand that has that card in it and I expect it to win me the game?
It looks like it'll score a 3 for 1 here. You can get the Zergo and a burn spell out of Phil's hand, and then he takes 3. So the value's there.
Yeah, I would be surprised if Jasper blocks.
Well, he might be okay with that trade. It takes so many of Phil's cards to deal with this.
When you have 3 lands in hand?
His hand is, if it's 3, no, he probably can't trade it with only 3 lands. Phil's expecting that Jasper will block.
I mean, I know that Phil wants him to block, so he can finish off with a Wild Slash or a Searing Blood or whatever removal spell he has.
Yeah, it's tough. Phil has Roast. That doesn't hit flyers. My concern is that if Thunderbreak is not blocking, that means you're just trying to race with it, and I don't think Jasper's hand's very well suited for that either.
Phil might be considering a Roast on the Swiss Spear, but I was just going to pass the turn
Yeah,
back.
I would be inclined to do that because when you're stuck on lands, you're going to have more... The choke is using your mana, so I want to use it every turn, even if it means I'm inefficiently casting my cards. I don't know what his other options are. Maybe he still has a better play here.
He does have a Wild Slash in hand.
Yeah, but I want to keep the 1 mana spells. I'm putting a pretty high premium on those.
Being able to play multiple spells in a turn?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. Jasper will attack.
Yeah, and here's the issue. If you're going to Wild Slash a Swiss Spear, you would have wanted to do it on your turn. You can't Wild Slash it now.
Yeah, you're terrified now of trying to kill it. There's too much that can go wrong.
There was some extra damage that I think happened there. On end step, you do need to shoot down something. You can't just draw a card here and hope that everything will go well. You can Lightning Strike at Jasper. I think that's reasonable.
I think that's reasonable too. Jasper, me?
Yeah.
Not my Swiss Spear? All right, I'm at 8.
Yeah, this line's defensible. Just ignoring the creatures altogether.
Mountain the draw.
Might even be good.
He's got 2 Firecrafts.
Right, so now he just has to survive. Zergo can't block, so might as well attack. It's unlikely that Jasper can deal enough damage. Interesting, so he goes with Roast. That will delay his kill by a turn.
Well, if Zergo... So, I know what his plan was, right? It's roast your creature, hit you with Zergo down to 6, Wild Slash you, Exquisite Firecraft you.
Sure.
But that's kind of off the table now.
Because it's just safer to say Firecraft you, go Firecraft you.
Yeah.
That's always going to win in 2 turns.
Yep.
I think I agree.
Now, Phil can still win the game, and
Oh,
he just drew a copy of Wild Slash, but he doesn't have the ability to play Wild Slash and Firecraft in the same turn. So he's going to Firecraft Jasper down to 2 and hope he doesn't die this turn.
Yep. So down to 2. Can Jasper deal 10? It looks not. He has a Stoke and a Thunderbreak hit. Does he have their last burn spell? That's 8. He needs a Wild Slash effect.
Got a lot of mountains over there. And just going to pass the turn.
And Phil is going to win this game, but I feel, he's lucky to have not lost based on the line he took. He gave Jasper an extra turn. On that extra turn, Jasper drew a Stoke the Flames. It's only because Jasper's on actually 8 lands that Phil wins. If Jasper's on 7 lands, which are still a huge flood, Phil loses there.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think that he's a little indecisive with some of his decision making there. The turn with the Lightning Strike, mostly the turn with the Roast.
The Lightning Strike, I think, actually worked out. It was. You're right that I might have just roasted I maybe would have roasted the Swift Spear there, but okay. I like how he played it. Lightning strikes, and then we have 2 Firecrafts. Like, all right, I have you dead in 2 turns. But once you have him there, and the fact that you are not Firecrafting the Thunderbreak Regent, like if you're not going to burn the Regent, you need to just lock in your 2-turn kill. Because giving Jasper a 3rd turn and another chance to hit with that Thunderbreak is too much damage to give him.
It's a little risky. But it worked out for him. Jasper on the play here for game number 3. But in the meantime, we'll very quickly talk about Grand Prix Atlanta. Coming to you November 13th through the 15th. StarCityGames.com/GP Atlanta. That's the mini site where you can find all the information. Who are the artists? Who's coming? We got a little bit of Commander feel for this particular tournament where you're going to find Benny Smith, MJ Scott, Sheldon Menery, along with the Commander versus Superstars. #GP Atlanta on social media. Get everybody talking about what's going to be a fantastic tournament November 13th through the 15th. This playmat will be available. Battle for Zendikar. Sealed will be the main event. There will be invites given away to the Pro Tour. There's a lot going on, as I mentioned. StarCityGames.com/GP Atlanta. Find out all about it. Get pre-registered today. Get that out of the way, especially if you know you're going to be coming. And we hope to see you there November 13th through the 15th. As we get ready here for game number 3 in the Mono Red Mirror to close out our day.
Yeah. So looking ahead at GP Atlanta, last time you played Commander, who was your general?
My weapon of choice, Patrick made me do this, Zozu.
All right, well, this match would approve.
Yes, it would. We have
People will kill you if you make that your general.
I know. I know.
People want to play their lands.
There are a lot of generals that will get you killed. I suppose commander is the term. There are a lot of commanders that will get you killed. It's more, so the thing about commander is you can build like a fun deck or you can be super spiky. And that's why I don't wade through the commander waters very much, is because I actually just want a super spiky one. Like, I like Rafellos.
Like, what, Gaddock Teague?
Yeah,
There you go, that's fun.
I like the Rafellos commander deck a lot because, it's fun for me and not for my opponent.
I didn't think you could make him your commander.
Well, I can do whatever I want.
Okay. I believe...
In theory, it's banned, but I can do whatever I want.
That's fine. We're going to pick the banned one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could have a really fun deck with that.
So I can have Braids as my commander, and then
that's the meanest thing I've ever heard.
Well, yeah, but if we're not gonna play by the banned list, I mean, sure, let's go for it.
Yeah, I wonder what the best commander deck is. No ban list.
The question certainly has been asked.
Who's the best commander?
It depends if we're playing multiplayer or 1v1 or a lot of stuff like that.
All right, yeah, questions open for both.
Sure.
Best commander, no ban list, just get to go animal.
Personally,
It's not that.
No.
It's not Reaper King.
I would go for Azusa Lost but Seeking. Personally.
Over-
Not that I have an opinion on this or anything.
Yeah, over Rafellos, really? I'm not saying Rafellos is the best one. I don't know that for sure. I
If
definitely
I
think
could
it's
have
powerful.
Azusa in my opening hand every single game and have extra life points to work with, I'm on board.
Is there like some commander that probably works really well with Storm?
Gristlebrand as a commander I've heard is pretty good. You just play an entire deck of rituals, then you ritual out Gristlebrand, and then you have a lot of life, so you draw like 21 and then play some more rituals. I don't think you can have Gristlebrand be your commander as well. I think that's also against the rules.
We got some people chiming. Rafellos has been announced by a mile, apparently. What is this even?
That's not even from a set. No.
Kelly of the Vast attacks an opponent when you put an angel, demon, or dragon creature. Not powerful enough. Not even close. 4 mana, 3 colors. Not even close to powerful.
I think Gristlebrand is the Storm General.
Okay. Oh, Twitch chat's chiming in. Okay.
The last time I played Commander, I built a Patron of the Kitsune deck because I thought it would be very amusing.
Yeah, that's the most adorable thing.
Well,
I've
I had to
ever
play it was like a 4-player game or something. So the goal was to just gain life, not even to win.
heard. Oh, okay.
And you just play cards that really disincentivize attacking. But you don't actually try to win. If you're going to do that, you only do that. And, sit around gaining life, and that's your end goal.
Oh, no, I like this. All right, we're in game 3.
All right.
Jasper lost that game, and he's
Sure.
choosing to draw.
I see it. If this game is going to be about trading post-board, choosing to draw makes sense.
Also, if your opponent mulligans, it's even better.
You have Thunderbreak Regents to cast.
Well, so the thing, right? Like, if you choose to draw, you said if the game's about trading, then it works out in your favor. But you can make the game about trading.
Right.
None of my resources, like my burn spells aren't going to your head. My burn spells are just going to go to creatures. I get an extra card. Maybe that gives me enough time to drop Outpost Siege or Chandra or Thunderbreak Regent and run away with the game that way. So you get to dictate the terms of the game. Assuming your draw lines up to let you do that. So I like it. I am a fan.
Yeah. Well, he'll be +2 cards as Phil takes a mulligan.
Ooh, more chime-ins. Ooh, Emrakul is a champion, sort of. Kalia of the Vast apparently is a 1-swing kill with Master of Cruelties, which, yeah, that's powerful, but we're trying to go broken here, no ban list.
I mean, this is why we would never have like the 1v1 Commander Pro Tour, is because the decks that people would win it with,
oh my goodness.
we'd really, like, it would wreck the casual format. Because then people would net deck it, and then when you played at home, it wouldn't be fun anymore. The things, you'd be like, this one Crucible strip mines you by turn 4 every game. And you'd be like, this isn't fun. Why are we doing this? Like, that's what people would be doing, though. You wouldn't like it.
Well, it just depends on your definition of fun. Like Searing Blooding a Zergo and attacking with Lightning Berserker, that's fun for me. That's not
great.
fun for you. You like control decks. This is super fun for me. I don't know if it's fun for Jasper.
I can get behind Red. Red's cool. I like my decks to have one game plan.
Oh, no. Did Jasper keep a one-lander? Oh, no.
Well, we learned last game from Phil that was going to be pretty... Well, Phil won on a one-lander, that they're pretty forgiving.
Yeah. And he does have 2 Abbots in hand. This could backfire. There's a Magma Spray. Here's an attack for at least 1. Let's make it 2.
It doesn't seem like Jasper's getting punished too hard for this. I think he'll be fine. I mean, obviously, if he misses the land up for 3 more turns, he will not be fine. He will probably lose.
There's Abbott. Roast.
Nope.
Yep,
Goblins.
That's gone.
Something else, just a piker.
Wild Slash time? Maybe?
It only pushes 1 damage through, but I think you're committed to Jasper not hitting his land drops. I think that's our game plan now. Yeah, he'll just trade. I don't like that. I want the creature.
Well, that was very non-committal, right? Like, he thought about casting Wild Slash once, twice, attack, maybe, yes, no. Like, I get why he wants to save the Wild Slash because he has an Abbott.
So why I want to keep the Wild Slash is that, okay, Jasper, if Jasper doesn't hit the land, it's so much damage on Phil's side now. It's just every turn, it's tap all my lands, fireball you.
Yep.
Now, Jasper hit the land, and I think land 2 may be all that Jasper needed.
Well, Jasper's thrilled now because no creature's beating him down, and he's at 14, so the likelihood of being
great.
burned out, I don't think, is very high. Abbott doesn't hit a land there for the Zergo. And now there's Wild Slash to take care of that. But this is how Jasper wants the game to go. Like Phil's using his burn spells on Jasper's creatures.
When Jasper decided to draw, that was a declaration that this is how he wanted the game to go. If Phil end step burns Jasper's creatures instead of Jasper, he's doing it wrong.
Yep. Now he's going to go upstairs with Stoke.
Yeah, and I mean, this seems horrible to say, I'm going to burn you up from 14, but I absolutely like that Phil is taking this line.
Here's Abbott. Wild Slash. I kind of want that to go upstairs,
I kind of want that to go upstairs. I want every burn spell to go upstairs. I don't think, so you burn that because you're clearing the way for your Abbott. That's what you're saying aloud by making that play, is that you believe your Abbott in play is going to deal more than 2 damage. And I'll tell you right now, I don't believe that.
Yeah, and Jasper doesn't either.
Here it does 0.
He's going to lightning strike it.
Burn spells are for your opponent at this point.
Jasper will draw. Here's Swift Spear. There's a mountain. Finally found one. There's an attack for 1. Is it Eidolon time? It is.
I would, in response to the Eidolon, I want to see Phil throw more burn spells at Jasper. The rest of his hand, just toss it all.
Now keep in mind, 2 Wild Slashes were cast on Jasper's creatures here. If Phil had sent those upstairs or just held them for a little while.
He'd be close. He'd be at a low, I mean, he'd be taking a lot of damage off some resolved creatures, but.
Yep.
But he might be able to burn Jasper out.
Jasper would be a theoretical 6, and then Phil has a lightning strike in hand, so that's a theoretical 3.
Yeah, but Phil would probably be at some single-digit number right now, too. It wouldn't be good for him.
Here comes Eidolon.
See Jasper holding back Monastery Swift Spear.
So he wants to make the game longer.
And Phil's got to throw everything upstairs. He's playing, by using spells on Jasper's creatures, he's playing into Jasper's game plan.
Yep. Gunn will draw. Now, does he have burn to get the job done? Absolutely he does. Exquisite Firecraft, Stoke the Flames. He's got a pretty high life total, which means he's going to get quite a few draw steps. So Jasper's going to try to close the game out with these extra cards as fast as he can. Here's Zergo. Eidolon will deal 2. Here come the beatdowns, yep.
Jasper's going to take it.
Down to 8.
I kind of expected Jasper to chump.
Mountain there from the Outpost Siege.
I'm worried that by not chumping there, if I'm in Jasper's spot, I would chump block.
I'm a little worried with the no chumps.
Yeah, well, just because that seems like the plan Jasper wants as well.
Yep.
He's got an Outpost Siege in play. He can throw away resources left and right. He didn't attack with the Swift Spear. I'm assuming that's because of things like Zergo.
Maybe a little scared of Lightning Berserker. Well, now he's going to turn the corner.
All right.
We'll see if missing that point of damage comes back to hurt him or not.
Jasper has Stoke the Flames in his own hand.
I think Exquisite Firecraft may have been the draw. Yep. There's a land. Zergo Dash. Maybe.
Is it going to work? You could Zergo Dash. I actually, if I'm in Phil's spot, I'm more inclined to want to just use burn spells. This isn't, well, I guess it depends what Jasper kills this with. This is probably fine. Most of Jasper's kill spells cost 3 or fewer.
Well, so if you're Phil, you can fire off Lightning Strike and Exquisite Firecraft, put Jasper down to 1, and lock him with his own Eidolon. Now, you're going to take 4 to do that, so you have to go down to 8, so it's a little bit risky.
Well, what he can do here, we can do this. If Jasper kills the Zergo with anything but Stoke the Flames, Jasper will go to 6, regardless, and then Phil can stoke Jasper and then Jasper's Eidolon
if he has Stoke in his hand. He has Exquisite Firecraft and Lightning Strike in hand.
So he can use Firecraft to do it. Firecraft's 4. And then Jasper will be at 2. And we'll be locked.
Oh, there's Stoke.
Okay, so now Jasper's not at 2. But Phil did get a Stoke out of Jasper's hand, which isn't terrible.
Yep. Real game of back and forth here. Outpost Siege trigger, reveal a mountain.
And Eidolon is making the game very interesting in that Phil can try for lethal burn, but there's the fact that Eidolon damage happens before the burn spell damage happens is not good for Phil. He can go down to 7 here. And if he goes down to 3 to try to burn Jasper out, Jasper will burn him out in response.
Yep.
But there's no way around that. I still think Phil needs to just fire off that end-step Exquisite Firecraft.
It's a sorcery, so that'll be hard.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Okay.
That'll be
that
really
would be very
tough.
hard.
Just attacking with Eidolon this time.
Phil's at 8.
Lightning Strike's going upstairs. Jasper down to 5, Phil down to 6. Phil needs to be real careful.
Well, I don't understand going to 5, putting him to 5 there.
Drew a copy of Roast. And the next spell that he plays can get him killed. If he plays Roast or Exquisite Firecraft, he'll die.
So, yeah, when you're on that line, if you're going to cast the Lightning Strike without the lethal burn, I would want to have seen Lightning Strike go at Eidolon.
Yep, here comes Stoke for the win.
Yeah, and Jasper just has it.
Jasper Johnson Epstein is going to win this match here over Philip Gunn, 2-1. The mono-red aggro mirror goes to the player on the left, and for Jasper, he will end the day at 9-0, coming off of a top 8 at Grand Prix Oklahoma City. Friends are pretty happy for him, and he's got to be pretty happy too. He starts off at the top of the standings for tomorrow.